equations of lines review. First thing we're going to look at is simplifying expressions, and in these expressions here, just looking to combine like terms. There's no other x squareds, it has to stay itself. These guys both have x's, I'm just combining them. Negative 8 plus 19 gives me 11x. Okay, just combining like terms. Over here, we have a couple of a's, so 1a minus 20a gives me negative 19a. We have a plus b and a plus 3c that can't pair with anything else. In number 3, we're just distributing. Make sure you take negative 5, not just 5, so it's negative 35x and positive 5. Can't do anything beyond that. Same thing here, got to distribute the negative 8 first, so it becomes negative 8 and negative 24x. Everything else on here stays the exact same to begin with. Combine some like terms. Here's guys with x's. Let's combine all them. So 9 minus 24 plus 6 gives you a negative 9x, and then you have a negative 8 and a positive 8. That just adds to 0. So negative 9x plus 0 is just negative 9x. Alright, now let's get into actually solving some equations. To get x by itself, right now it's x plus 1. To undo that, I subtract 1 from both sides to cancel that out. X equals then 1 minus 1, which is 0. In number 6, first we got to move this minus 10 by adding 10 to both sides. Gives you 2. You have x over 31 is equal to 2. To undo a divide by 31, you're going to multiply both sides by 31. That way the times 31 divide 31 cancels itself out, and you're left with x equals 62. 7, distribute first. 3x plus 18 equals 8x minus 2. I suggest always moving the x's first. Between 3x and 8x, I'd rather subtract 3x from both sides. That cancels that out, leaves me with 18 equals 5x minus 2. Now I have a simple one-step equation, or two-step equation. I need to add 2 to both sides, get the 5x by itself. So 20 equals 5x, and then divide both sides by 5 to give you x equaling 4. Number 12, this one is going to be very commonly missed. Here's why. To get x by itself, we just need to divide by 12. A lot of people will say that 4 divided by 12 is 3. It is not. 4 divided by 12 can't be done, so I will just simplify the fraction, divide both top and bottom by 4 to get 1 over 3. Next couple, we got some cross multiplying. When we cross multiply, x times 30 is 30x, and then 2 times the whole thing of x minus 4. I'll distribute that through now and get 2x minus 8 equals 30x. From here, I need to get x's by itself. Let's bring this 2x over, subtract 2x from both sides. That leaves you with 28x equals negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 8 here. Or not by negative 8, sorry. Divide by 28 because that's what's attached to the x. And we get an answer of negative 8 over 28, which that can be reduced to negative. If I divide both top and bottom by 4, I would get negative 2 over 7. Number 10, before I start anything, I should notice I have like terms I can combine here. That's negative 4x there on the left. So again, I got x's on both sides, numbers on both sides, so I can choose what I want to add or subtract. I can either subtract x or add 4x to both sides. I'm going to choose to add 4x. Either way would work, but that's the way that just looks to be a little easier. So x plus 4x gives me 5x. I still have this plus 7. I have 12, and that guy canceled itself out. From here, I'll subtract 7 from both sides. Gives me 5x equals 12 minus 7 is 5. Divide both sides by 5, and you get x equal to 1. Next set here, here's another cross multiplying. 6 times 7 is 42 equals negative 3 times the whole thing of x plus 6. Distribute that, negative 3 and negative 18 is what's equal to 42. Only one x, which is nice, so I just need to get rid of minus 18. I do that by adding 18 to both sides. That gives me 60 equals negative 3x. And then here, just divide by negative 3, and you'll get your final answer, x equaling negative 20. 12, I have x's on both sides, but I only have numbers on one side. So you might think, okay, I subtract 3x from both sides. That would be fine if you did that. Actually, let me show if you did that, you'd have x plus 2 equals, that cancels out, so it'd be 0. So I'd have to subtract 2 from both sides to get x equals negative 2. Your other option, if you noticed that there's no number on the right-hand side, well, if I subtract 4x here from both sides, then I'll have just 2 equals negative x, divide both sides by negative 1 to get x equals negative 2. Both ways work just fine. 13, cross multiply. Negative 1 times x minus 4 equals 2 times x plus 3. Distribute these through, negative 1x, positive 4, and then 2x and plus 6 when you do your distributing for both parts. I got x's again on both sides. I can either add an x or subtract a 2x. I'll choose to add an x. Cancels that out. I'm left with 4 equals 3x plus 6. I'll now subtract 6 from both sides to get negative 2 on the left and 3x on the right. Leaves me with just dividing by 3. And I get an answer of x equals negative 2 over 3. I can't reduce that in any way. 14, again, like terms first. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4. So I got negative x plus 4 equals 3x. I'm going to try just like I did in number 12. I'm going to move this x to the right-hand side. That'll give me just 4 on the left and 4x on the right. Divide both sides by 4 to get 1 is equal to x. 15, distribute first. 12x is still there. This becomes negative 10x and positive 6. And leaves me with 2x still on the left. Combine like terms, that becomes 2x plus 6, and I have 2x. So I have x's on both sides. Let's move them. I'll subtract 2x from this side. Means I got to do it over here as well. You may notice. And that cancels out. That also cancels out. Gives you 0 equals 6. That is not true by any stretch. That's a false statement. That means there is no solution to this problem. 0 with a line through it if you prefer. And 16, one of the easier ones. We have x divided by 2. That means I just need to multiply both sides by 2. X will equal 68, just like that. Alright, word problems. It's just you need to set up an equation. You won't get credit if you do not set up an equation first. So after paying $5.12 for a salad, Nora has $27.10. How much did she have before buying the salad? So the way I'm looking at this is she had some amount, then you're going to take away what she what she spent, and that's going to give you her current amount. Well, things we know. We know that she had, well, no, we don't know what she had, but we know that she spent $5.12 for a salad, and she's going to end up with $27.10. There's your equation. That's what I'm looking for first. Now you need to solve it by adding $5.12 to both sides. X equals $32.22. In 18, Linda making muffins, calls for 7 cups of sugar. Already put in 2 cups. How many more does she need? More is a key word there. Okay, she has 7 cups total. We don't know how many more she needs, but we know she's already put in 2 cups. So this is a total. This is how much she needs, plus how much she already has. So now we can solve. That's pretty easy to find out, though. You're going to get 5 is equal to x. So she needs 5 more cups of sugar. 19 and 20 are a little bit better equations in terms of what you might see down the road. Sonny won 30 pencils playing a game, and he gave 2 to each of his friends, leaving him 8 for himself. How many friends did he give his pencils to? This is one of those y equals mx plus b type things. First, how much did he start with? Well, we started with 30 pencils. That's just actually want to look at that more as his total. B is what he kind of has. Nothing per anything. That would be 8. He has 8 pencils to work with, and he's giving 2 to each of his friends. So that means that for each friend, which is x, how many friends, he's giving 2 pencils. So total, so here it's total pencils equals the number that he gives to friends plus the number that he keeps. Just to give another example of equation, I could have also said with y equals mx plus b, I could have said, well, his total was only 8 pencils. That's what he has. He started with 30 total, and he gave away 2 for each friend. Those are 2 very equal equations. They both will work out. When you solve the equation, subtract 8 from both sides. On this equation, you get 22 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and you get the x equals 11 friends. So there's not one absolute right or wrong equation to be used. Alright, and the last one, dealing with allowances. She spent half of her allowance playing mini golf, then her parents let her wash the car. So, let's start with what her allowance is. X. We don't know what it was. So that's what we're looking for. What is her weekly allowance? First thing she did was she spent half of it, meaning divide it by 2, cut it in half. Then, she added $4 by washing the car, and that gives her a total of $12. There are also problems that could have said if she had washed the car first, that would have been x plus 4, and then if she spent half of it, then it would be divided by 2, equals 12. So make sure you pay attention to the order that things are happening. So first subtract 4 to solve this equation. X over 2 is equal to 8. Multiply both sides by 2, and she's going to say that she started with $16. There you have it. Best of luck. Study well.